Do you want to die? I mean, really, how much do you want to die? Practically no one would say yes to that. Well, some people wouldn't mind not waking up, but most people don't want to die, at least not yet. I might say, well, 20 years from now, when I'm 80, of course, when I become 80, they want to live to 100, or 100 to say I want to go to 120. It's normal to want to stay alive. There are situations where people are suicidal, they don't want to live, they want to end the pain of whatever their life's about. Some people are really depressed, they have some thoughts like, well, I mean, it'd be better if I wasn't here. But most people, over 90%, 95%, don't want to die at this time. Now, that doesn't mean that you're motivated to be healthy, doesn't mean that you're motivated to live a long life. You just don't want to die. And especially you don't want to have a long, drawn-out death. You don't want a painful death. Nobody does. We all know people who have had long, drawn-out deaths. So if it's cancer, or after a stroke, staying around but being severely handicapped, maybe not being able to speak. My father, greatest man I ever knew, he had a heart attack in his 40s. And he really, back then in the 50s when he had this heart attack, there weren't stents, so open heart surgery was pretty rare. You could have an angiogram, you could have a PET scan to see what's going on in your heart. So he had a heart attack, severe one, and he survived. And he really took care of himself. He took his weight down from 220 to 180, and he looked good. Not only did he look good, he would be telling people how to live. He'd be taking this fiber to put in his drink and take down that fiber, tell everybody the kind of foods to have, because he was a good example of a healthy person after the heart attack. So there's one way of increasing your motivation to live a long and healthy life, which is the title of today's presentation. How to increase your motivation to achieve a healthy life and a long life. How to increase your motivation to increase your healthy life and a long life. Well, with the story of my beloved father, passed away about 35 years ago. He looked marvelous. His health was spectacular. And as time went by, I started losing the fear of dying. He faced death. He looked death in the eye when he had that heart attack. And so that's one way to increase the motivation to stay alive. You come face to face with death. You're almost dead, but you manage to somehow survive by the grace of God or genes or whatever. And your motivation is increased. Like that. Like that. Now, the whole idea is to increase your motivation without having to go through that. So years later, maybe about over 20 years later, my father put on a lot of weight. He used to stash candy bars in the trunk of his car. He used to have businessmen. He became a very successful businessman. He would have his meetings, Princess Hotel in Toronto, Canada. And we'd have coffee and pastries. We would invite this person and that person to have a business meeting. So these business meetings were getting bigger and bigger. I remember one day we were at Hot Springs, and I said, Dad, you're getting so fat like this. I mean, it's just very unhealthy. And he said to me this. He said, son, I guess it's an unconscious death wish. 1 year later, he was dead. Heart attack, massive heart attack, gone. It was a fast death. That's a good thing I could say. It was a fast death. It wasn't a long, drawn-out one from strokes and multiple heart attacks or cancer. or kidney failure, just boom, he was gone. Good for him. We were, of course, very saddened by losing. He was such a generous man, such a loyal man, so much virtues, very charismatic man, very generous. Dad knew he was destroying himself, still did it, because after a while, his motivation to live a healthy life and a long life diminished. And I'm telling you this story because it's not unique to my father. This happens with people. Motivation can go down. Now, my beloved father-in-law, I never had the pleasure of meeting in person, but I heard so much about him. I know what a great man he is. And I pray for my parents and grandparents and my mother-in-law and father-in-law every night. I talk to him. Of course, it's a one-way conversation. I don't hear any words coming back, but I get a feeling and gotten closer and closer to him. He was living in Iran. My wife's Persian. And he went to the doctor. I think he was about 66 years old. And he smoked. He was overweight. And the doctor said, if you don't stop smoking, you'll be dead within 6 months. He didn't stop smoking. Sure enough, 6 months later, he was dead. I could tell a lot of stories like that. I just want to take the ones that are close to home for me, my father and my father-in-law. And both had children. My father-in-law had 5 children. My parents had 2. Both now have grandchildren, even though they're not here. So in terms of having children and grandchildren as a motivation to wanting to stay alive, it wasn't enough. For some people, it is. I want to stay around. I'm motivated to live long and healthy because I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my grandkids. And for some people, that's a big motivation. Definitely not for everyone. It wasn't for my father and my father-in-law. So I have a little poem I wrote about this. I'm going to read that to you. Look to what people do more than to what they say. If they eat the foods of death, do not believe them when they say want a healthy life and a long life. If they're eating foods of death, don't believe them when they say I want a long life. I'll say the actions. If they speak words of anger and of disrespect, do not believe them when they say they want peace. Look at the behaviors. Very often what people say and what they do, not the same. What the person really is motivated towards, look at what they say, look at what they do. Words matter. Words matter a lot. But actions matter more. Seek the way of honor. Speak a little light into the dark caves of whom you think you are. Arise to serve the purpose of your life. Arise to serve the purpose of your life. And that's what today is about. I've performed a study of 241 patients. And questions would be, does your purpose in life involve living with honor? I don't know what I would have statistics to give you on. Does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a long life? Does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a healthy life? Does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a more meaningful and productive life? Those were the 4 questions asked. Now, in the honor therapy approach, we ask, what is the purpose of your life? Every session. Every session. It always comes down to honor and family. It could be honor, health, and family. It could be honor, health, family, and success. It always involves honor and typically family. So honor and family are a pretty stock part of people's purpose. once you start talking to them about their purpose. Now, most people never had anyone ask them, what is the purpose of your life? But in honor therapy that we do in the honor therapy that we do here with nurse practitioner Bert and nurse practitioner Amber and myself, we ask that question every session. Everybody knows the purpose of their life, and in our situation, it involves honor. So here's what we found. We had 241 patients, 126 women, 152 men. The average age was 39. Does your purpose in life involve living with honor? After 4 months, which is 5 sessions, 100% said yes. 100% said yes. Well, we would expect every session we're talking to them about it. Not a surprise. Second question, does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a long life? 96% said yes. That having that purpose of life, of living with honor, makes them want to live a long life. Well, you have to pay close attention to that. 96% of the people, so of 100 people, 4 didn't say yes to that, but 96 said yes. So we know a very powerful way to increase the motivation to achieve a long life and a healthy life. We're going to come to the healthy life right in a moment. So having a purpose for getting up, for living, is very important for wanting to stay. Because there's so much pain in this life, so much disappointment, betrayal, setbacks, failures. So it takes a strong sense of purpose to say, I still want to be here anyway. I want a long life. Because I want to fulfill my purpose in life. I want to fulfill my destiny. Does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a healthy life? A healthy life. This involves proper eating, exercise, getting a good night's sleep, taking care of ourselves. 96% of the people said, yes, my purpose of living with honor increases my desire to live not only a long life, but a healthy life. Of course, healthy life and long life go together. Health span and lifespan go together. So here's the formula of how to increase the motivation. Because although most people don't want to die at this time, they're not really that motivated to live a long life or a healthy life. That's why the average lifespan in America is about 79 years of age. Given the amount of money we spend on disease care in hospitals and medications, it's one of the highest in the world, and our lifespan is not even close to the highest in the world. Does your purpose of living with honor increase your desire to live a more meaningful and productive life? 96% said yes. It increases their desire to live a more meaningful and productive life. So it all goes to if you know your purpose in life. In this case, purpose in life, living with honor, makes you want health, longevity, meaning, productivity. You want to stay. Now, of course, getting close to death will increase your desire to live a long life, but it doesn't hold forever. After a while, you forget what it was like. Certainly, staying alive to see your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, it's good. At least that's a purpose in life, so it becomes that. But here's something, whether you have grandchildren and you don't have grandchildren, you have children or you don't have children, every human being can have the purpose of life of living with honor, which will increase your desire for a long life, increase your desire for a healthy life, increase your desire for a more meaningful and productive life. And certainly, longevity and health facilitate living a long life and a healthy life, which facilitates that. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist in the state of California since 1974. Been in practice for over 50 years. And I've had the pleasure of walking upon this earth for over 84 years. So I'm bringing to you my insights and experiences and inspirations of a lifetime. And it's my pleasure to present this to you. It took me 50 years of really developing the whole honor system, the honor teachings. We have today's marks number 986. We have 986 of these wonderful presentations with a wonderful participation of our beautiful people that participate from the audience. 986. Well, we're going to get to 1,000. I got to take Hugh, who's the videographer, take him out for dinner. It's the big day. He's pretty happy about that. All right, so we're moving along. So this is how to increase your motivation to achieve a healthy life and a long life. It's very conclusive, and I'm sure the results are not surprising to you. Not going to be a surprise to you, but it's quantified. This is now part of evidence-based approach to therapy and evidence-based approach to life. Evidence-based approach to life. Now, I want to open this up to our beautiful, wonderful people who are here, our deep people, keeping in mind when you speak up, when you make a comment, and you make a question, that helps everybody here. They feel they're part of a wonderful community and feel less alone or whatever is going on in their lives. So I'll put to you, what are your thoughts about the purpose of living with honor, increasing your desire to live a long life, a healthy life, a life of more meaning and productivity? What are your thoughts about that? Is it a surprise to you? Yes.
It's Joanne.
Joanne, yes, Joanne.
Ever since I started the honor therapy, I've noticed that I am starting to eat better. I have a refrigerator full of berries, and I had greens tonight. I ordered the Coca-Cola, and it's just
What is
makes
it? Well, beans, greens, and berries, if you want as a foundation,
right.
Good going. And what kind of cola?
Gouda Cola.
Oh, Gouda Cola. Oh, the Gouda Cola. It sounds like a variation of Coca-Cola. The Gouda Cola. Yeah, that's very healthy for the brain and the memory. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I realized that I'm exercising more, and it started after I started the honor therapy.
Well, because you have the purpose. What's your purpose in life?
You know what? I want to find a career that gives me meaning.
Well, that's a goal, and that's very important. But would you say your purpose in life is to live with honor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
I don't ever give it up now. I feel too good.
Well, that's what I'm telling my patients. When I say to my patients, when you're no longer my patient, you want to keep reciting your 4 commands of honor the rest of your life. And everybody says they want to do that. Because what I'm doing now with my people is not to just help you now, but I'm looking at the trajectory of your whole life. So when you're 95 years old, I want you to be able to say, Dr. Nerenberg, I've led an honorable life, and I have no regrets. So this way of life not only increases your motivation for a long and healthy life and more productivity and meaning, but it reduces the possibility of any regret in your life. It's a path of no regret. It's a beautiful lifestyle. Thank you so much for that, Joanne. Always wonderful to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Gisela.
Gisela, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you let me know. I sent you the text. Yeah, good.
Yes. I just want to say that living with honor and embracing honor inspires me to continue to be strong, healthy, and to motivate others to continue a meaningful life. And it's a reinforcement of these or other factors that can makes us doubt ourselves. Hey, we just need to, reinforce ourselves and believe in ourselves and continue living with honor to become a successful person in whatever we're doing.
Yes, and here's what I tell people about success. I'm glad you mentioned success. I'll tell people, if I'm talking to a woman, I say, if you look at the most beautiful, gorgeous woman in the world, great figure, pretty face, beautiful, great career, multi-billionaire, has beautiful home and cars, but if she doesn't have honor, well, she's a loser. She's a failure. Only honor makes you a success. Then, of course, you want to make money and look good and be healthy. But honor, yes. So living a successful life means, number one, living an honorable life. Well, I'm really glad to hear you saying this, Gisela. And I know this about you. You're one of the leaders in the honor movement. I know your values. And I know 99% of the people here already believed in the way of honor. This just put a spotlight on it and gave a structure to it that you can follow all of your life. but you already believed in it. My program helps make good people even better. So it did for me. I've always been a decent guy, made me even a better person. And that's what it's doing for others, and it's going to do for you. 986 videos on this, over 100 books on it. It's a lot of material there for you to apply to your life and to benefit tremendously and rapidly. Yes, you.
A lot of depressed people go to comfort food to try and make themselves better. And the comfort food is bad for your gut health, which makes your depression even worse.
Yeah, so gut health is very tied, the probiotics that we have is very tied to our mood. And so when you eat these comfort foods, it's detrimental to the gut health. So in terms of health, gut health, which is key for all dimensions of life, the more and more studies are coming out about these little bacteria, they're the good bacteria like the bifidus and the acidophilus and a bunch of other friendly critters. There are as many of them in us as there are of us. And so when people deal with depression through the comfort foods, they're not only gaining weight, which can be difficult for them because the fat cells emit pro-inflammatory chemicals, but also it's going to affect their moods. It's going to people. In fact, there are probiotics that will help elevate the mood. So thank you for bringing it up, Hugh. He was big on probiotics, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Thanks. Who else has something you'd like to ask or say about this very important topic? How have each of you felt about finding out that your purpose in life is to live with honor? How did it affect you personally? Because I know prior to seeing me, you didn't think in exactly those terms.
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is John.
John, always good to hear from you, John.
Always great to see you, sir. I can say that honor has changed me so much that I totally look at everything a totally different way. When I look in my past, I try to make it a positive. I try not to look towards the negative. I even went out, I got the vitamin B12, the long life. I got a multivitamin, and then I also got the Q10 because I may not live forever, but as long as I live, I'm going to live with honor, and I'm going to try to live as long as I can.
Well, John, that's very important. Because would you say your purpose of living with honor has added fuel to
yes.
wanting to live a long life, a long,
Yes.
healthy life?
It's even helped me get back into starting to read the Bible more and starting to feel like before I felt more depressed. Now I'm like, I feel very like if an normal person is not, he wouldn't do that. He would do this.
Well, you know,
So I
reading
kinda use that.
scripture is very healthy for you. Reciting the commands of honor. These are all life-giving words. Reading scripture, whether you're a Christian or whatever religion you are, it's very life-giving. So words give life, and as you follow the way of honor, you seek to always speak. You always ask the question, "What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do?" Which we call the bridge.
Yeah,
Very good.
and I love the videos as well because it's repetitive, and it's like you said, repetitive is, and I can't remember the rest.
Repetition is preparation for application to achieve stabilization. It's a little jingle.
Yes.
John, absolutely.
So,
well, I really appreciate
I just want to thank you so much, sir, because it has changed me a lot.
Well, it's a privilege knowing you and being a witness to your life.
Dr. Nerenberg.
Yes. Thank you, John. Who's speaking?
Repetition, Gisela, repetition makes you achieve sophistication to continue the honor movement.
Repetition does what?
Repetition makes you achieve sophistication so you can continue
sophistication.
the honor movement.
It does. It does lead to a type of sophistication of thought. It leads to a maturity of thinking. It's very mature, reasonable, rational thoughts will come more often. We still get irrational impulses, whatever. We'll have more rational, reasonable thoughts that will guide our words and our behaviors. And that's sophisticated. That's real maturity. It generates that. It absolutely does. I've seen it myself, and I've seen it in so many of our people. Thank you for saying that, Gisela. Always,
And it all,
you always
and
come
it
with an
all-
unusual angle. Yes.
I know it just comes out because I get so inspired by your movement and your teachings, and it's just you know, it's a life-changing experience that I go through with the honor movement.
Well, your commitment to the movement is very inspiring to me personally, just so you know. And, my hope is you'll always be involved, even when you're not a patient anymore, because you have so much to offer. You're a very creative thinker. You're able to think outside of the box and very creatively at that, very creative person, which is rare. So it's a pleasure to know you and be doing this together.
It's an honor to even do this honor movement with you.
Thank you, Gisela. Beautiful. Who else would like to say something about how it was for you when you came to realize the purpose of your life was to live with honor? I know you didn't, well, I'm saying that before you met me. I know you weren't doing that.
Dr. Nerenberg, George here.
George.
Sir, one of the things you say, and which I've started to, repeat along with the Four Commandments, it's, I have not always lived with honor, but I will die with honor.
Those are my words to the judge before I was sentenced years ago. That's right.
It's I am new to the, honor therapy, and I can tell you that it has helped me so much. It has actually made me a stronger person, I believe. And, I'm very thankful that I found you.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, whether it's by accident or fate, it's hard to say. Some people say nothing's by accident. I'm not sure, but that's possibly true. And the fact that that was a takeaway for you. I'll not always live with honor, but I will die with honor. The fact that that was a takeaway from you shows me what a deep person you are and very sincere. Only somebody who's very deep and sincere would have that as a major takeaway, because that's a powerful thought. Very powerful. It was for me when it came upon me many years ago. Very powerful. So thank you for that input. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Hugh, you were going to say something?
Isn't living with honor just doing the right thing? You had a woman the other day that was talking about how she took care of her grandmother that never was nice to her, and she was just doing the right thing.
Well, doing the right thing, he was saying, isn't that the honorable thing? Definitely doing the right thing. We had somebody that was here. We did a movie about her called I Became the Mother I Never Had. And she had a grandmother that was pretty abusive and never liked her. But when grandmother was elderly and sick and basically in the process of passing away, she took care of her grandmother out of a sense of duty and honor. So doing the right thing is one way to say it. A more powerful way of saying she did the honorable thing, because honor connotes so much more than even just the right thing is good. The honorable thing is a much wider system.
The problem is that there's so much really horrible stuff. Oh, done it today in the name of...
Well,
the honor has lost its true meaning.
Well, honor, there's many perversions of honor. Honor killings, men killing their daughters because they dated somebody outside their religion, whatever. That's why I very deliberately defined honor in this way. Honor is loyalty to your highest constructive values as enshrined in the four commands of honor, while striving to cause no harm physically and emotionally. So that eliminates all the false things that were called honor. People used to get into duels. You insulted me, sir. They slapped a guy in a duel and one of them would be dead. Well, that wasn't the honor. That wasn't an honor duel. That was a duel over ego and pride. So, and some of these things that were called honor were really fanaticism. So we come up at this time in the way of honor, the whole honor teachings, with a definition that I just gave you of what honor is. Very important to clarify the definition. Thank you for that. Thank you. But many words have become jaded. The word love, people have been jaded in the name of love. Even God, the word God, there's so many people that don't want to go to religion because there's been so much hypocrisy in the name of religion. Good religions were founded by perfect teachers, but people are turned off because it's been so misused. So honor is probably less jaded word than most. I found honor was the language of the people, and particularly when I refined it with this definition. And there's a place for people who believe in God and don't believe in God. If they believe in God, they go, God, your wish is my only wish. If they don't believe in God, they say, I seek always to serve my highest values.
When I was taking care of Cheryl when she was sick, I wasn't doing it for honor. I was doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Well, it's the honorable thing to do. It was out
Here again, I think the word to me has been so jaded that's why I'm wondering if this, this is the right thing to do if you're a decent person.
Well, same perversion can happen there. Somebody could say, the right thing to do is for me to kill my daughter for dating this thing. It's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a decent whatever religion they are. It's the right thing for me to do. It's the right thing for me to kill people who don't believe my religion. It's the right thing to do. So the word right, it could be, it's being misused as well. So
That's a thought.
yeah, it's a thought, and I'm glad you expressed it. Of course, the honor teachings are so expansive. It's with these 986 videos and over 100 books, there's so many applications that it has, and it connotes so much power to it. Does it carry some baggage? Historically, it does. That's why I clarified it with the definition that I gave it. Thanks for that, Hugh. Very good point. Anybody have any comments on this survey where 100% of people said that the purpose of living with honor, that 100% of people said that living with honor is part of their purpose in life. 96% said it increased their desire for a long life. 96% said it increased their desire for a healthy life. And 96% said it increased their desire to live a more meaningful and productive life. That leads to all that. Any thoughts or comments on the tremendous implications of honor?
You gave them a moral compass.
So I gave them a moral compass, which is absolutely intrinsic to the whole system. It is a moral compass. It's a moral compass consistent with every religion, every constructive philosophy that's ever been. Well, it's been my pleasure to present to you how to increase your motivation to achieve a healthy life and a long life.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, full in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.